This is the Conscious Hour, and it's February 3rd. So the question is there going to be a war? I pray there isn't. And so here's some good news from Colonel Wilkerson, and he's will give us hopefully some breathing room. But it's up to Donald Trump. And Netanyahu, of course, wants him to strike.
That's because we don't have an agreement. That's a dangerous situation. It's a very dangerous situation, as you just extrapolated in terms of what comes next and then what comes against that and what comes against that. So this is something that needs to be understood by both sides, particularly if they're not under specific execute orders. And I read the situation right now that they're not under specific execute orders. The only order they have, as I understand it, is to display force. And then the president will decide and issue any kind of executive order, to execute a military operation or to go home or somewhere in between.
But just think
So
how much money we're spending to do this.
You just hinted at. And you have to have cool heads on both sides. And I hope that there are cool heads on both sides. Now, let me go to the bigger issue. I think that we are at a point now where negotiations, talks, despite the Iranian distrust, understandable distrust of us, and despite Foreign Minister Sarachi saying that trust is the most important thing of any kind of negotiation, and he's right, and we don't have it. We simply don't have it. Look at what you did before. We trusted you then, and look at what you did. Now, why should we trust you? I still think there are meaningful talks going on. And I think he hinted at that too. So this array of force is Trump's idea of making the point that if you don't adhere to these talks, and if you don't come around to what I want in some way, I might order them to shoot. Now, I'll follow up with this. I don't think there's any chance in the world, other than an accident, which you just hinted at, that he's going to order them to shoot. I really don't. I think this is all Donald Trump bluffing. And he's bluffing with a very dangerous instrument in a very dangerous situation, but he is nonetheless bluffing. I don't know if Hegseth and the others in the chain of command actually know that, the Central Command commander, for example. But Trump is bluffing, and he's trying to use that bluff. And here's the real thing that just blows my mind. What he's looking for is the JCPOA. He had it, and he kicked it out. That's what he's looking for. Ultimately, that's what he's looking for. He's not going to say they have to give up their ballistic missiles. He's not even going to say probably that they have to go to zero enrichment. It's going to be a JCPOA type agreement. The Iranians are going to be willing to test him on it. And we're going to have a cessation of hostilities, if you will, at least in that immediate sense. And then the huge question becomes, and that's why I ask you, is Witkoff carrying a club with him with Donald Trump's face on it to Jerusalem to meet with Netanyahu? The big impediment's going to be Netanyahu. But I think the IDF has convinced Netanyahu it just is not the time to do this because they've told him what will happen to Israel if they do. So we have this kind of stasis right now in the main characters. We have Iran not really wanting a war, but ready for it to the hilt. We have Trump not wanting a war, but wanting some kind of agreement to come away with so he can say, oh, this is my 15th war I've stopped, and I need the peace agreement, the Nobel Peace Prize now, that sort of thing. And Bibi's got to shut up because Trump is not going to be with him if anything happens in the way of a war. And Bibi's been told that if it does happen, Israel's going to be destroyed. And he will, in fact, have to go to a nuclear weapon. And even the
So that's where we're at, folks. Standing on the edge of a cliff. Will they retreat and cooler minds prevail? Stay tuned. This is the Conscious Hour. Please hit the like button, the share button, and please donate to the 501c3 because the money that comes in, if there's any money that comes in, it goes directly to the people in Palestine to help them out. Thanks for tuning into the Conscious Hour. Like and share. Thank you.